Well, whether you believe it or not, like I have infra issues every day. So there are a lot of people using it, and this usage is actually growing to the extent that we don't actually know how to deal with it. We have to rebuild the infra to scale the next 10x. So definitely a lot of people in the world using it. Thanks to all of you as well. What is next for us? The browser. That's the big bet we are making as far as the future of the company goes. Everyone's here is like, why should I use Perplexity when there's search and other AI apps? Of course, ChatGPT has a bigger distribution than us. Every other AI app is trying to put search as a layer in it. All of them support citations. A lot of them support some of the verticals we have put work into. Yes, like we're always going to continue to remain better than others in that category. But I think the browser and agents are truly the next bet that we want to make. We think about it as an assistant rather than a complete autonomous agent. But one omnibox where you can navigate, you can ask informational queries. Omnibox where you can navigate, you can ask informational queries, and you can give agentic tasks and your AI with you on your new tab page and on your sidecar as an assistant on any web page you are, makes the browser feel like more like a cognitive operating system rather than just yet another browser. And we hope to make it like a cloud where you launch several tasks in parallel that are running asynchronously and pulling all your personal context, your email, your calendar, your Amazon, your, all sorts of social media accounts that you have. And you go and do research on real estate, the markets, and these are all like just processes running on your browser. That's never been possible before. And Chrome was exciting when each tab was its own process. You think about each query or each prompt could be that. And that'll be our new browser Comet. So we're putting all our energy into that.
This was going to be the hard question I saved for the end, but since you queued it up, I'll do it right now. I think if Sam Altman were still on the stage today, he would say, "Oh yeah, that's what we're doing." And I think Sundar at Google probably would say that's the direction we're headed as well. So it feels like there are a bunch of players, now many of them very well funded, going in generally the same direction. How do you see the world? Like, do you think that it's gonna play out where there's actually like a bunch of different use cases and you can own a very important one that others won't want to own? Or are we in for like a major competitive battle?
Look, if something is really worth doing, it's really natural that people with a lot of funding will go and do it. People said Perplexity is a great product. Now everyone is trying to do something that can answer any question with sources. Cursor was a great product. Now OpenAI is trying to buy Cursor's competitor. Anthropic launched Codex, like Claude Code. Google has its own like rival tool. So it's only natural that when there's a lot of.
And I think hearing your story of like how you started Perplexity would be really interesting to them because it's probably exactly the world that they're in now.
Yeah.
Tell us how you got started.
We started the company without actually having a clear idea of what to build, which is the opposite of what YC advises, which is start from a project and turn it into a company. I really think at this point in time, when AI is improving so fast, you don't have to rigidly stick to any one idea when you're getting started. But the most important thing is you don't change the idea every week. Like that you shouldn't do either. So start with something, like brainstorm, think about it, and then try to immediately build it and get it in the hands of people. One tool that we were building was natural language to SQL, which we actually thought about it as a search tool, searching over relational databases. I loved Twitter search, but it never like the original version of Facebook graph search. I loved that when I was much younger. So I wanted to like rebuild that. It's the crappiest name for a consumer product. It's called Perplexity. Very hard. Nobody even knows how to share it. And then it was so slow, took 7 seconds to answer for a query at the time. And it was making a lot of mistakes, hallucinations. And like a no-name company, no-name founder, very $1 or $2 million in seed funding. Despite that, people were caring enough to sharing screenshots and a New Year Eve when you could be, watching Netflix, right? So that's when I knew there was something real here, and I started like optimizing for like committing to this vision.
Okay, and at that point, like on that New Year's Eve, did you in your head think, I'm building a thing that could really compete with Google and like take over a market as big as what Google offers?
No.
Or was it just a toy for you then?
The first time the thought occurred to me was when Google wrote a blog post. Sundar wrote a blog post about Bard. Like that was around the time when we were raising Series A funding. And everybody said, okay, Bard is going to do whatever you're doing. And as a company are like thinking Google wouldn't build this or something like that. But the reality is like nobody actually gets exposed to those features. But competition is real. Okay, let's assume, let's accept that OpenAI is extremely well funded, doesn't have all these innovator dilemma problems, wants to actually ship search onto ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the most successful consumer AI product out there. And so competing against it is very difficult, which is why I really want to like push the company more on the browser side. And I think Comet, the browser, will be an abstraction layer above chatbots. You could even imagine like, if you permit Comet, all your ChatGPT chats can, be fed into that AI, and like, you don't even have to worry about memory or personalization or like, any of these things. And it'll do a lot of new things that a chatbot cannot do, like accessing other tabs, accessing your browsing history, going and completing forms for you, like paying your credit cards, buying stuff for you, and being your scout, going and doing all the research for you, that sort of thing, like periodic recurring tasks. I think that's the magic that the browser enables for you. And putting it into like mobile, like building mobile versions of this browser is going to be very hard, like just engineering wise, it's going to take many months. So I'm not really worried about like someone else trying to copy this. It's going to take time for anybody.
Switching to a different browser is like a pretty big decision for a user. What do you think will be the very short-term things that your browser will do so much better than what I can get today in Chrome that will make me want to switch?
The perfect blend of AI, navigation, and agents is what we're going to offer. And might sound like a boring answer, but no one's done that. And there are like hundreds of millions, probably close to 1 billion people using AI these days. So the market's already pretty big.
What's like a specific example of how I would do that?
Browser, and they had like maybe 100 million queries. Now, like it's like 10 billion or something. So the browser is an important part of that. And then so that's why we are making a massive bet on that. And agents can only be built with the browser. I'm very like convinced about that vision that if you want to have a mobile agent that you can actually build and implement without being restricted by whatever OS rules that Apple or Google sets in terms of not being able to call third-party apps, expecting every mobile app to have MCP servers and then like connecting all their data to your thing is not going to be that straightforward. Like nobody wants to be disintermediated by an AI that quickly. So the browser will be a great way to build all these things. Thank you.
So as a lot of us here have done, we've failed at our startups. Some of us have been more successful than others. Some, like me, have failed. When you're in that moment, failing over and over again, what do you tell yourself as CEO